All right, I want to talk about tips on how to overcome your gym anxiety. Genuinely, there are things that you can do that will massively change your experience. So many people in the gym are so friendly. I think there's a lot of fear of judgment when you are completely new or completely wrapped up in gym anxiety. I think there's ladybirds in my ears. Hello and welcome back to the Gym Girls Locker Room podcast with your host, Sydgrows, Sydney Cassidy, and my beautiful, wonderful, lovely co-host,
Ellis. Hello.
Ellis Cassidy. Before we get into today's topic, can I please ask you to open up your podcast player and hit subscribe on Apple Podcasts, follow on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. This really helps us support the show and helps us create an even better show for the Gym Girls Locker Room community. And I will love you forever and ever and ever and ever. Cute echo.
It's kind of like ASMR.
Okay, right, let's get on with the episode. So, gosh, we have had a funny little afternoon.
It wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't funny. Well, I actually, there's been a fair few instances, this past year where I've really had to step up to the plate. I've really seen my fight, flight, or what's the other one? Fight, flight, freeze.
Yeah.
Response come into action. And every single time I've stepped up to the goddamn plate. And today was no different. For approximately
2 hours.
2 hours, I've now been chasing ladybugs that have appeared in our office. Ellis has been squealing and freaking out.
Yeah, I've never been scared of bugs, but this has triggered something in me.
Yeah, which is weird because they're not really the kind of thing that makes you, your skin crawl, creepy crawlies, that sort of thing. And I, as well, another thing, I think of myself as quite a glass half empty kind of person. Honestly, I am quite a negative Debbie Downer at times. And I've taken it in a positive way. I'm seeing it as like a good omen. I put it on my story and people have been saying that it's good luck.
Yeah.
Good fertility. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But yeah, so anyway, that's what we've been doing this morning, which has been really fun. But it's all sorted now, so that's good. And, maybe it's a sign of better things coming and good things.
Positive vibes.
Absolutely. Anyway, today we have a good, helpful, I think, topic for us. We will be tackling the topic of gym anxiety, which I feel like is something that we have all absolutely experienced and dealt with. And some fear it more than others. A lot of us have worked through it. But yeah, we're going to talk all things gym anxiety. And I forgot to preface this in the last episode. Actually, no, you weren't in the second one. But the first one I forgot to preface by saying the unique and beautiful thing about Ellis being my co-host on a gym girl podcast. Ellis, do you want to say?
Oh yeah. So I don't go to the gym. The only time I step foot in gym is for shoots, for work. And it's really funny because I always say to Syd, I'm like, I know so much about the gym, but I don't go. I don't do anything, which is just so funny.
And what would you say? Actually, I don't even know the answer to this. What would you say that your experience is so far?
Experience with gym?
On a personal level.
On a personal level.
Not related to work.
I'd say a 0.03.
Oh, okay. You're giving me
You see, the 0.3 is I went to a gym when I was 14 with my friend, and we went on the treadmill. And I'd say I was there for about 25 minutes, and then left. Which is, I don't know why I haven't gone to the gym since. I think it is literally gym anxiety. And it's funny because you're my sister. Yeah. But maybe that's a reason why I am more scared. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
I need to dive into that more.
Again, we can psychoanalyze. We can deep dive.
Because sorry.
No.
So sorry.
Go on.
I keep thinking like, I would really like to get into it. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
I don't know about weights, but something, I would definitely like to do something.
Shouldn't have said that, Ellis. Should not have said that. Literally, I ask Ellis all the time. I'm just like, come on, Ellis. But I've yet to... And you know what? Like, I don't want to push
No.
it, so...
Because I feel like that's how you don't enjoy it in the end. Or like there's no longevity when you force yourself to do something.
Absolutely. Yeah. It comes... I feel like, you know, exercise and fitness finds people when they need it.
Mm-hmm.
Or when they feel ready to accept it. Like with anything in life, when you're ready to accept something, it will find its way to you. So yeah, but I think that's interesting to note anyway.
Yeah,
so
I'm
feel
no
free
expert.
feel free to ask any questions. Okay, so I want to start off with what is gym anxiety? We have a definition here. Gym anxiety, aka gym intimidation. Have you ever heard that one? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease about going to the gym. It often stems from concerns about not knowing how to use equipment correctly, feeling self-conscious about one's body or fitness level, worrying about being judged by others, or simply feeling out of place in the gym environment. It is common and can affect anyone, regardless of their fitness experience or background.
Period.
Period on that. I think what's really interesting to note is that it can affect anyone, regardless of their fitness experience or background. I think, let me just start off with like my experience.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I'm very open about, and I think has become quite like sort of on brand for me to talk about gym anxiety. But I guess now is interesting because I'm in a place where this is my job. I'm surrounded by, you know, people in health and fitness and like the best of the best. And so with that, I've really grown in confidence a lot. And so it's interesting. But yeah, I'll be the first to admit that I am like someone that still gets gym anxiety. And I probably always will. Going back to the start, I did mention this in episode 1. If you haven't listened to it, do definitely give it a listen because it talks more about sort of my history and my journey. But just to summarize, like I didn't really have much more experience than the next person, and I went into it alone to begin with, and I found it really, really, really intimidating. I think you have this feeling or this idea that everyone's watching you. And you feel all the eyes on you and that everyone's better than you. And so I think that kind of stopped me from doing a lot of stuff to begin with. And I would say that there's things that I'm doing now, which I still get very intimidated by, but I've worked through enough to realize that, like, you know, I can try things now because I'm able to bear the gym anxiety. But I've only kind of got to that after years of training. I managed to work through it, and I'll definitely go into details about how to do so. But I did just want to say, recently, I've started CrossFit, which is something that like I've really wanted to do for a while. And I mean, there's other reasons as to why I've kind of held back. I think when your work is wrapped up in what training you're doing, it becomes a little bit complicated, and it's a new thing for me, contemplating the idea of changing fitness styles.
I think also when you're like, I'm gonna say a pro at lifting, or you know a lot about it, you're good at it, and then you're going to a completely different genre, I guess, where it's like so different but so similar but so different, and like, yeah.
Well, I think so I think on the one hand I did have like the whole career and whatever, but I think also part of it was just like I just did not feel like I had it in me, and I had that gym anxiety popping up, something I haven't experienced in a really, really long time. Because for me, switching to like almost, I'm trying to think of what the word is, like a different sort of training style, that has recently evoked a lot of gym anxiety in me. And yeah, that's not been something I've experienced in quite some time.
Would you say you got humbled?
I mean, yeah, completely and utterly. But I do love learning new things. So with that, you know, it's been actually a really pleasant experience. But, you know, even just turning up into that gym space and it's like the fear of the unknown, I think for me, that's the part that makes me just...
How long have you been doing CrossFit for now?
I've literally been doing it for like 3 weeks. 3 or so weeks.
Do you see like a difference in your anxiety from like, because you were nervous, weren't you?
Yeah,
You were
well,
really
I've wanted to do it for a while, and yeah, like I said, besides the sort of worries about the fact that I also have to train and stuff like that, and film content. When I put that aside, when I was talking to people, I was like, oh, I don't want to do it, but I don't, and I feel nervous and all these things. And I think a lot of people look at me and they're like, you still get nervous? That's crazy. What was your question? I can't even remember what you said.
I said, is there a difference in
yeah.
anxieties?
So, well, that's actually something that's been quite funny for me to kind of experience, because I have been going with Jay, my boyfriend, and today, because we were recording in the evening time, I knew that I needed to go in the daytime, and I was like, all right, so I'm gonna have to go by myself, aren't I? And
is it your first time?
That was my first time.
Oh,
and
wow.
and I felt fine about it. I think it was just you know, as we're sat there, I didn't have my like safety like support person.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, I'm here. But it was fine. It's absolutely fine. And I feel like quite often once you get over that initial part, you know, it does get better. But yeah, I want to spitball some facts at you because I find this interesting.
Yeah.
And I feel like in doing so, it makes you feel like, oh, damn, I'm not alone. Because I think all too often you feel like it's sort of you versus everyone else. You walking into the gym, everyone else knows what they're doing. You walking into the gym, everyone else has like way more experience. You like, and then the list goes on. So I want to just read some because I feel like I was kind of surprised by these. According to a study done by, gonna absolutely butcher the name, Hunkamola. Who knows? Over a quarter of women, 28%, feel anxious in a gym environment. Almost 61% of women would prefer to work out in a female-only space.
That's interesting. Well, actually, but not a shock.
I'd love to know what your opinion is on women's-only gyms, especially as someone like
who's not in gym.
Oh, and clearly is put off by something.
If there was a women-only gym, and it was also around the corner from the house, so I would probably go. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Like, if you told me to go into your Pure gym, I'd be like, actually, you made me go in there. Oh my God. So I've actually, there's 2 times that actually that I have been in a gym that has not been to do with work. Let me set the scene. It's 10 p.m. I finished work at Waitrose. I'm in. I stink of meat and fish. If you listen to the first episode, you would know that I worked on a meat and fish counter. And Syd would go to the gym and drop me home because she'd finish at the same time. Anyway, she said, Ellis, could you walk to the gym, please? And usually I would just wait outside. But she goes, oh, I think I was there to meet your gym friends or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
No, it was a guy that and I really want to just like stress, this was like right at the start.
At the very start.
And there was a guy that I was like talking to from the gym. No, I wanted Ellis to meet him. And so
you made me go into the gym in my meat and fish smelling uniform, and the looks I got.
Have you not seen the gym trends?
What? What do you
Nobody's watching you.
Oh yeah, nobody's watching you until you smell like meat and fish. And then they're like, oh my god, okay, here's this girl.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I not that I know, but like people wouldn't look at you if you weren't smelling meat and fish. But I think it was because of that, and that I was in a clearly branded Waitrose outfit
Yeah.
from top to bottom.
Actually, just as a little, to keep going off on topic. Actually, there was a woman. I remember there's this like lady who is a construction worker, and she used to just go to the gym in her construction clothes, her hard boots, her high vis.
Wow,
Yeah.
was that comfortable for her?
Don't know, but she got it done.
For younger girls, I think they would definitely go, and it would be quite like positive for girls, and like when you're nervous and stuff. Even like not just female only, but probably men's only. That would be great for them as well. I don't know. But then also I feel like once I did go to the female only gym and then I started to learn more. I think it's also the lack of knowledge, like being nervous because you don't know what the machines do, how to use them, blah blah blah. But then I would go to I'm not against mixed gyms.
Yeah, but do you feel like you have... I feel like that's an interesting perspective that I actually think a lot of people would probably have, that being in a women's only gym you'd feel like you'd have more permission to get things wrong.
Yeah.
Or to maybe ask questions.
Ask questions for sure.
If you were
I would
around
happily,
the girlies.
I'd happily go up to a girl. Unless she was like, oh, I don't know. No, I'd happily go up to a girl and say, sorry, could you help me?
Yeah, so fair. No, I you know what, like I definitely agree. Just to talk about, female only spaces at the moment. Because I don't know, because I've not experienced it. I do find it like interesting when I go to a gym and then there's a female only section. Like the other day, I just went to the Gymshark. Well, it was literally not the other day, but a few weeks ago, I went to the Gymshark lifting tour.
Yeah.
And it was a gym in Birmingham. Can't remember what it's called. Literally, it's gone straight over my head. But it was really interesting.
Had a section.
Not only did it have a women's only section, it had it through the changing rooms.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. And us girls, like me and the athletes, we arrived. Sorry, I've got an itchy head.
Wait, what do you mean through the changing rooms?
So we arrive. It's
Yeah.
like this, like meathead, like gym, like a gym I would find really intimidating, like back in the day. Walked through there like a proper like muscle like iron weight sort of gym. Went in there. You go into the women's changing rooms, and it's just like a rundown little changing room, and then there's another door, and you go through the door, and there's a whole gym section. I know, it's like Narnia, but like gym girl edition.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
because if you are like genuinely so scared,
you go from A to B, and you
don't see anyone. You see girls. Boom.
I know, it was so interesting. I've
Wow.
never seen that. And it like proper, you went into the gym, you went into the changing rooms, this tiny changing rooms, and then it opens up into like a wider space, and there was everything you would possibly need. And I do definitely think that would have been I would have really have benefited from that in the earlier parts of my journey, just because that was something that I was definitely conscious of. Being around men, and like I guess I don't know, if you're not used to like quote unquote gym bros, it's a different kind of guy, like, you know what I mean?
Also, it's like the culture like of gym as well, like
it's a whole thing.
I had no idea about that, but obviously because of my job I now know.
Yeah,
but there's so many things, like a big thing is not going up to people in the gym and asking for their number and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like you would not know that if you were a beginner.
No.
Or like you didn't go to the gym.
No, like gym etiquette and all
Yeah.
that. Like, yeah, definitely. So I think like I definitely would have, benefited from that. Although it's funny because my opinion of things is that I'm like an advocate for like men and women coexisting in a mixed sort of environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I always get asked this question actually whenever I go to like an event and I've got a Q&A or whatever. And I always say that like I think that men and women men should be allies of, women in the gym space and should help to alleviate, those natural like fears and anxieties they're going to have in a sort of space like that is so male dominated. So it's a bit of an interesting one. Yeah, it's an interesting answer because I do definitely see the benefit of that.
And there's also so many like scenarios, like people could not want to be in mixed gyms for like religious reasons, or like experiences where like they've had a negative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many different reasons.
Yeah. So no, I can understand that 61% of women would prefer. Okay, here's another one. 1 in 10 women disclose that going to a workout space actually has the opposite effect, causing them to feel stressed out. With 7% saying they actually feel worse about themselves afterwards.
Wow.
That's kind of crazy.
I wonder it'd be interesting to know the reasons. Like why? Like is it seeing other people like looking good, or
I think it's so overwhelming to begin with. That's something I've definitely been reminded of, being in a space where I'm feeling all the new sort of beginner feels again and I'm feeling that gym anxiety. It's so overwhelming. Like when you're new to something, there's just so much to think about. Something I found really beautiful about CrossFit is something that I actually didn't even really think has ever really affected me, but I definitely think that it's something that probably I could guess, or I'd probably bet that those 1 in 10 women that do feel worse after they work out feel sort of overwhelmed by is CrossFit doesn't have any mirrors in the gym.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah. So you're
There's
not
no
checking
mirrors.
yourself.
You're not checking yourself. You can't see yourself. If you're unhappy about your body and you're feeling the gym anxiety, you're just starting out at gym, or you're feeling new gym anxiety, you're in a new space, you're just surrounded by mirrors. And on those days where you're just not really mentally in the place to deal with it, that's like a lot. And I found it so, I'm someone that if there's a mirror there, I'll use
look in it.
Don't you worry. But for me, it's been amazing. And then it's like all these other things start to happen where you realise, oh, actually, I'm just going to chuck on some clothes and I'm not going to do my hair or do any makeup. And you know what? I'm not even going to film. Actually, I'm not allowed to film at my gym. But that's another story. But, then it's like, oh, I can actually focus on what I need to focus on.
Because you also can't see other people. And like, oh my God, are they looking at me? Or like, what are they doing? And stuff like that.
That's so fair. Yeah, because I've just never thought about that. It's like those mirrors, they just like magnify everything.
Yeah.
Your insecurities, your like worries of judgment or like people staring at you. It just feels like everything. And like I do really, I empathize with a lot of people that feel that way, because there are people out there that, do struggle to look in the mirror. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially wearing like workout clothing. So it can feel really overwhelming. And then you go to a quiet space, the studio, and then that's got mirrors. So it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense.
On the flip side though, I'd be like, oh, I really want to check if like, say you're in a period.
I know, that is one thing.
Yeah.
And also just like a little like post-workout, like, hey, like selfie. I don't know. But yeah, that's really sad. On the flip side, good that like 9 out of 10 women don't feel that way.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'd say that's a win. All right, this is a good one. The top 5 causes of gym intimidation. Oh, I keep saying it wrong. Gym intimidation are. And the stats are quite high. Like the numbers are actually quite high. Okay, do you want to guess any? Should we play a little game?
I would love to. Wait, so what is it?
So the top, what's that? Is it like pointless, that game?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but oh no, that's the one where. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just create our own quiz show. What are the top 5 causes of gym intimidation?
Okay. Definitely like self-conscious, like image. I don't know. What do you think your 5 are?
Well, I've got the answers here.
Oh yeah. Not knowing enough.
Wait, kind of, yeah.
This is too hard. Just
Okay.
gotta tell me.
We'll try another game thing another time, maybe.
My brain just isn't braining.
Okay, so top 5 causes are, with 56% of Brits saying that it's understanding how to use all of the equipment.
56.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
52% found it was other more experienced gym goers.
Yeah.
50% found fellow gym goers waiting to use the machines and equipment they were using.
That's a good one.
47% of Brits found the weights area.
Yeah.
And 33% found complex machines.
Complex machines like what?
Like, you walk up to the machine and you're just like,
What does this do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. God, I feel like I could really just go off and talk about all of them. And I can.
Yeah.
So shall I?
Yeah. Go on.
No, because I feel like, you know what? It's so funny. The 5 top causes are really what I would argue are like the top 5 like pillars of getting over it.
Yeah. Period.
I think like.
Did you go through all of those as well?
Yeah. Still kind of do. Okay, so let's start off with the first one. So understanding how to use all the equipment. I feel like this is like one of the biggest ones. You walk into the gym, you're like, God damn. God damn. I don't know what the frick to do with any of these things. And that's completely fine. That is literally fine. We all start somewhere, right? No one is like born knowing. Born a gym rat. I knew what I was doing out of the womb.
Yeah, that's so true. Everyone's
Everyone's
at
been
one
a
point
beginner.
knows nothing.
Yeah.
Knows zero.
Yeah. So you go into the gym and you're like, what the hell do I do? I would strongly advise getting a gym induction. Most gyms do them. It feels a little bit like, oh, I don't want to though. But you know what? I think it's just a good thing to do. It gets you kind of some contact time with one of the members of staff in there.
Is this with a PT, do you mean?
Yeah, so like a gym induction is where like a PT, usually one of the members of staff on shift, you can just like sign up for the class. I guarantee every gym does one. And then they'll just like walk you through. It doesn't even have to be like a really formal thing. Sometimes they literally just say, like, even when you sign up, they're just like, oh, like, let me just show you around the gym. They'll familiarize you with like where everything is, toilets, water machine, where the studios are, where the gyms are. But then not only that, they'll break down like, okay, legs is over here. This is where the cardio machines are. And it's really helpful because they'll kind of just show you like how to change the pins in the barbell machines and that sort of thing. I remember walking into the gym and being like, well, there's no chance I'm going over to the free weight section because I don't even know how to set the rack. Don't even know how to do that. And I didn't do a gym induction, and I really think it would have actually helped me.
Yeah, because
had I done that
from a beginner, I'm like, oh my god, I'm even scared to talk to that induction person.
Yeah, which is so fair. I think there's this idea that newbies have, or people that aren't familiar with the gym, that like the PTs, well, I can only speak for myself, but I really felt like the PTs were out there to like catch me out. I thought they were going to like laugh at me for doing things wrong. Could not be further from the truth. These are people that like are super passionate about what they do. They're usually, I mean, honestly, I think like 95% of PTs that I've encountered have been so kind and lovely. I think that goes for, you know, people that are involved with health and fitness anyway. Just like people that are passionate about gym just always seem to be so lovely and warm and kind. But when you don't know and when you're new, you just sort of almost project your own anxieties onto the whole environment and the whole situation, you know. Oh, they're gonna be like that, they're gonna look at me. Yeah, and I think it's like when you're in this place where you're feeling more vulnerable and a little bit more nervous, just go off of fact. Don't just assume things or kind of look for proof in everything. If you see a class or like an induction that you can sign up for that says it's for beginners to help you like ease you into gym, assume that's the case until you're proven otherwise. So assume that, you know, everyone's going to be there to help you. But I can definitely say that like people are so friendly, so warm and so kind, and you know, no one wants anything more than to help you out.
And if you have had a bad experience in a gym, that probably isn't the normal. That's probably like a one-off that's happened.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like there's probably a few people that have like their first interaction's been like horrible, and they're like, I'm absolutely traumatized.
Yeah. Oh, it's just such a lovely, wonderful space. And so yeah, I would definitely go get an induction. Ask a friend. I had a friend. I'm trying to think who it was. Well, I had a boyfriend at the time. Sorry, guys, I was just like fighting off some more ladybirds, but like legit, nearly fell on Ellis.
I'm hallucinating. I can't do this.
No, I can't do this. I don't want that much good fortune, please. Goosey, save us.
After this, I don't want to see any more goddamn ladybirds.
All right. So, yeah, I can't remember who was the first person that really truly showed me around, but I can tell you that I know for a goddamn fact.
Hayden?
I know for a fact. No, God. Hayden, who people might not know. Believe it or not, I actually have a brother.
Behind you. He's behind
I
you.
thought you meant there was a ladybird. Yeah, he's behind me. There. But yeah, no, definitely not him. We've always been rivals.
God.
Oh God, I feel like there's one in my ear.
Oh.
No, this is just spinning me ear. Right. But
I just don't know if I can do this anymore. I quit. I actually quit. I'm hallucinating. I'm seeing ladybirds everywhere.
But yeah, so I think whoever it was, so I had I think a boyfriend at the time maybe showed me, or maybe I went with a friend, but I would literally be like, okay, because I think I'm like a what do they call it? There's like visual learners. I'm the doing one. Like I need to like let me do it and just tell me what to do, you know? And so I'm fairly certain I remember kind of being like, we're going to train together. I want you to show me exactly how to set up the barbell so I can do it when I'm here alone, because I don't want to have to rely on anyone. I don't want anyone thinking I'm doing it wrong, which is like, now I reflect on it, I'm like, oh God, why did I care so much, you know? But it's fine.
It's so scary though, and you don't know. Like after the last Gym Girls Locker Room event, me and Sam were putting away weights, and I was like, "Am I doing this right?" I was literally just picking up weights, and I was only doing the 5 because I was like, I hope I'm doing it right.
Well, just picking it up.
Just literally picking
I know.
it up, and then putting it on that thing, and I was thinking, is this the right place to do it? I don't know.
You overthink everything.
Yeah.
You want to, and I get it. To begin with, you just want to blend in.
Yeah.
Because turning up is the hardest part, and like, so to begin with, you just want to blend in seamlessly and just get the goddamn work workout done, and that's completely fine. So yeah, I definitely think going with a friend would be helpful in respect of learning to use the equipment.
Also, just easing anxiety.
And easing anxiety. I mean, I will add, I know anyone who's beginner listening will be like, no, I'm not going to do this. But I will add that so many people in the gym are so friendly and so kind and willing to help. You can, if you don't know anything, and if I don't know anything, I just ask. So if I can take sort of me being an more experienced person now in an environment where I am a newbie to this new training style, I have so much more knowledge behind me that I just ask, because I know nobody's going to judge me. And I think there's a lot of fear of judgment when you are completely new or completely wrapped up in gym anxiety. But I'll just ask, and I find that I find that doing so alleviates kind of the nerves, and it kind of makes contact with someone else, you know, and then you just feel like, okay, cool, thank you.
Would
You
you
answered my
say
question.
that? Sorry. Would you say that for all gyms though? Because I feel like a lot of people will probably think, oh, there's probably just nice people at your gym.
I know,
Well, I know
everyone says this.
You've been to a lot of gyms. Would you say that for all? Like that everyone is like really nice and happy to help? And
Yeah. So I would say definitely for the like the most part. I think if anyone is familiar with like my content over the past few years, like I did train in London at a really friendly gym, and that was actually, I'm glad you brought this up, because that's actually something I've really had to kind of work through, because I could have easily have not moved gyms, because I was so happy and settled there, and I knew that gym is such a big part of my life. And I preach so much about like quote unquote like this gym community. And so I was really tested this past year with like
moving
and going to a completely different, you know, well, a different end of the country, where I don't know anyone, and I don't have like, it's going to be a challenge. And I think in my head I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to find anyone like my gym that I started in. I'm not going to find anyone like that, because that was my gym. It's like I kind of checked myself in that moment. I'm like, but I preach that, you know, gym people and the gym community is like that. So I need to like practice what I preach, and I need to like go to some gyms. And so I, since moving, have been going to all of these gyms, and I've been trying loads. And yeah, I will say that there are some where majority are just assholes, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I really think like you can get a good, if you're in tune with yourself and how you're feeling and like how an environment makes you feel, you'll be able to tell. And I know going to new gyms feels really overwhelming. So the prospect of, when I'm telling you, you know, go and try loads, that feels really overwhelming. But there are just some that are chef's kiss. You just feel this warmth from the people, the person on the front desk, the PTs. You see the kind of people that are training there, and some just don't. And that's going to change depending on who you are, what you're looking for. Like, for example, near me is a gym where it's got amazing equipment. It's a commercial gym. It's nice, decent, whatever. The space, it's not too busy at rush hour, you know, all those things that tick in the boxes for me. However, all the people that train there are very much headphones on, locking in, and that's
just
it.
There for gym. They
there
don't
for
wanna
gym,
talk.
which is like amazing for whoever, you know, that caters for.
But you personally,
for me personally,
yeah,
that doesn't suit. So another thing that I think people find really intimidating is the people there. And I mentioned it earlier, like this feeling that everybody's staring at you, everyone's better than you. And now I am more experienced, and it's something that I've really worked through with like my own gym anxiety. It's so funny, like, you know, looking back, and when I hear other people's sort of gym anxiety, I mean, I'm not saying funny, ha, but it's just interesting to kind of observe what it is that people find nerve-wracking. And one of them things being, you know, more experienced people, because all too often the most like jacked, like oldest like guy, you know, the most sort of intimidating looking is like the friendliest, chillest guy. And something I really learned is that someone who is so dedicated to training is so passionate. They're so passionate. And this goes for like the PTs as well, and like the gym bros. You know, these people that are always at the gym, they really care. They're really passionate. And so many of them are so unbelievably helpful when you ask them a question, or if you just say hi to them or whatever. But they're really not somebody to fear at all. And if they're not really a chatty person, they're more likely just kind of someone that like gets on with it, gets their head down. But really, yeah, bad experiences with those kind of guys is very far and few between. I used to find when I was training, and I'm sure I'm not alone in feeling so, that I would feel this kind of pressure when someone would be like waiting to use the machine I was using.
If someone said like, how many sets you got left?
I'd be like, no,
I'm done.
I was literally finished right now. Literally finished right now. No, like that was fully me. And I'm sure so many people feel that way too. All right, I want to talk about tips on how to overcome your gym anxiety, because there are things we can do to alleviate it, okay? No one's asking you to be like, walk into the gym and be like, all right, I ain't got gym anxiety. I don't know where I was going with that. But like genuinely, there are things that you can do that will massively change your experience.
And then I can come back at you and be like, yeah, well, what about this? Anyway.
Go on then.
No, you go.
All right.
Yeah.
So tip number 1 is recognise that it's normal. No, that is the tip. Okay. So where I'm getting at with this is that I feel like you think everybody, like nobody, you're in it alone, and that nobody feels the same way as you. I feel like everyone's just winging it. And so I feel like kind of owning it is like the first step I want you to just take, okay?
You have always said that. Like, if you're nervous, just own it. Like, verbally say, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or oh, I'm scared, or yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of like piggybacking off of that, like take up space. So I remember someone saying to me, like, when you're nervous, you tend to shrink yourself. You make yourself physically small, like you don't take up space, literally, right? So just if you do feel yourself sort of getting nervous and you feel yourself making yourself small and kind of staying out the way or whatever, and just take note. Know that you're okay, know that you're fine, and just like, you know, try to just move through that space a little bit more. Definitely when I started, I think I definitely made myself a lot smaller than I needed to. And so you have permission, give yourself permission to move around the gym at a pace that suits you, but know that everyone pays the same membership. I feel like a lot of gym anxiety really is like a mental game. And although there's these tips I'm about to give that sort of help make it easier to sort of approach, a lot of it is just speaking with yourself, knowing that you're worth it, knowing that like everyone's been there before, you're not alone, knowing that you have just as much right to be there as the next person. You see that guy over there, like moaning and groaning and looking like super, super muscular. Like he literally entered the gym the moment he left his mother's womb.
He paid the same as you.
He pays the same as you. Just the same.
That $19.99 or whatever.
Oh, honey, it isn't that cheap anymore.
That 26.
Nope. It's a little bit more than that. It's like 40 quid for like
Oh, that's enough for
the
me to not
commercial
step
ones.
foot in there. I'll tell you that for free.
No, don't think like that. You just got to think, right, even if I was going 2 times a week, I can't do the maths, but
£6.
exactly, right?
I don't know if that's right.
Worthwhile. That's one of the reasons I didn't sign up to CrossFit, actually, because I was like, no, it's so expensive. It's like I pay £110 a month, I think, and it's literally a bot. Well, it's like a gym without even any, machines in it or whatever. But it's so worth it when you actually break it up and use it as a motivator to go.
Honestly.
I'm spending this money, I may as well go. But yeah, be patient with yourself. That's my next tip. Be patient with yourself. It's a journey, not a race. These things come with time. Give yourself the grace that you're a beginner. Or maybe you're not a beginner. Maybe you're going through it and you're still struggling. But you know what? You're there. You're showing up. You're chipping away. And that's like all in the right direction. That's all momentum, to building confidence and tackling gym anxiety. Next one is go in with a plan. This is like the first sort of actionable tip for you. You're there, you've made it, and you're thinking, where the hell do I begin? When you go in without a plan, that's when things become really overwhelming, because you're like, right, where
Period.
You can use your phone, have the notes section up. Don't feel embarrassed about using your phone. That was another really common thing. I always used to, and I know loads of people feel the same way, always would feel so much embarrassment about getting up a tutorial or something like that. We're all learning.
That's so true. Like, the thought of someone peering over and seeing that.
Yeah, absolutely fine. But there's so much out there now by way of like TikTok, Instagram, so much free information that you're able to access to help you on your journey. So if you don't know how to use a certain thing, just search it. Or there's loads of workout plans out there, or you can actually find free plans online, or you can pay for a plan. It's up to you, but go in with the plan. I think it really, really helps. You know what you're doing. Like it was really helpful for me to also like anticipate what's about to come. Anticipate, because I had a plan, I knew, okay, when I go to the gym, I'm going to be doing this. And I remember thinking when I started, like, so like how many exercises?
Honestly.
How do I know what to do on what day and all that sort of thing?
What's leg day?
What is leg day?
I was doing something the other day, and I had to text you. What are the days?
Yeah.
What are the days?
Well, I can answer your question for you. So it's just that when people say like leg day or like whatever day, there's a really common split. This is a bit of a side note, but it's fine. I'm sure it will help someone. There's a really common split. Split means like how you divide up your training throughout the week, what you're targeting on what days, right? So there's a really common split that's push, pull, legs. Push meaning like your chest, your shoulders, your triceps. Yes, got that right. And pull means bicep and back. Okay, they like work together, and then you do those days. And then there's leg days, right? So then you'll just cover the leg muscles. I do think it also, this is a side note, I think it's really, really helpful to kind of clue up when you are starting something. Try to like absorb as much information you can. The less you're in the dark about things, the easier things become, right? To kind of be
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, exactly. Scream it for the people in the back. But knowing what the hell is a tricep, what's a trap, that really helps you understand. And it allows you to kind of navigate the gym space a bit better, because there's like machines like lat pull down. Oh, well, I know what a lat is. I know that that's going to work my back. And loads of the machines just have like diagrams on them, so you can use that, you know. So I think like just try to, that's a little side note, but like all of that I guess wraps up into the idea of a plan and just being prepared, going in with sort of more preparation. Failing that, if you feel too overwhelmed with that, absolutely fine. And if that is a point that's like, you know, you're feeling nervous about, there's classes out there, there's PTs are there for a reason. I've seen quite a few people on like Gym Girls locker room posts and that sort of thing mention how a PT really helped them get into gym and gave them sort of the confidence to walk around the gym space. If you do feel like you're lacking, this leads me on to my next point. Go with a friend. Go with someone who knows what they're doing. Go with someone who has experience. So you can just relinquish control, and then you can kind of have them walk you through what you're doing. And in fact, that's what I did when I started. When I spoke in the first episode about like those guys that I met, those first friends that I had, those guys, they just guided me around the gym space. And, you know, that free weight section, that dreaded free weight section that I think feels so intimidating, probably for men and women alike, they going with someone just means that you just feel like, oh, all that pressure is relieved from you. You don't have to think. They can guide you and hold your hand. It's literally like you're a little toddler and you've got someone, you know, holding your hand through the process. So I would absolutely recommend getting a PT, going to the gym with someone more experienced than you. That's so helpful. Attending at off-peak times. So obviously the gyms will differ like in place to place.
Can't you check apps to see how many people are in the gym?
You can.
That would be really
some
helpful.
You can, yeah, some you can. I know like the more commercial ones you can, but gosh, it makes such a difference. I never really have to luckily I'm really fortunate and I don't have to train at like peak hours, and when I do, I just feel so overwhelmed with anxiety. It's just so many people and like bodies and distractions, and especially if like you have gone in with a plan and then your machine's busy or like the squat rack's taken.
What do you do?
Oh
my god.
So obviously there are other things you can do, but I totally appreciate that can feel like a lot. So yeah, go in at sort of off-peak times. For me, I would say the most optimum time to like go, fully appreciate this is like within working hours. So I'll say it, but I'll give obviously alternatives as well. But the quietest times, generally speaking, will be like from about 8 a.m. through till about 2 p.m. That's when like typically everyone's at work, so it gets really quiet. And then it is usually quieter in the evenings. I would just say the busiest times, unfortunately with gym, there's 2 rush hours. There's a rush hour sort of peak time at like 5, 6 in the evening, 5, 6, 7. But there's also one
late
at 5, 6, 7 in the morning. Did I just say that? No, yeah.
No, you said evening.
Yeah, there's one in the morning.
5 a.m. in the morning, God forbid.
Yeah. It's like an early rush hour, and it's so weird like going there, because I never get up at that time. So when I go there, I'm always so surprised by the energy.
Because also you think, I'm going to get up early to miss everyone, and then you get there and it's full.
Yeah, it's I remember hearing before, there's 2 kinds of people, right? There's the people that train before the day and the kind of people that train like after the day. The people that train before are going to like set themselves up for a good day. they're getting it out of the way. I hear that quite a lot, getting it out of the way, getting it done. They've already achieved, you know, something, and it's only like 8 a.m. in the morning. And then there's the people that like go in the evening, and it's like to just like de-stress, decompress. They're going to just kind of like chill out, unwind, and just get a session in. I would probably say I'm the latter, but yeah. So yeah, and gym does quieten down a lot after that rush hour. So yeah. Anyway, definitely the time you train does make a good impact. Also, gyms are quiet at the weekend. They really are. Some no, but others, yeah. Like for the most part, like the commercial gyms.
At the weekends? That's
Yeah.
surprising.
Like a Sunday evening usually is like super, super quiet. Friday evening, super, super quiet. So, you know, make the most of those times when you do have them, because you'll really be able to kind of just like step into those zones that you feel a little bit nervous in, or, you know, do anything like that. But yeah, and just keep going with it. Like the more you go, the more you're kind of stepping outside of your comfort zone, and the more you're kind of pushing yourself in the right direction. And you only feel the anxiety, and you only feel like overwhelmed just because you're not so familiar with it, and it will come in time, you know. I just want to finish with some alternatives for when the anxiety hits and it feels too overwhelming, because I do think it's, you know, worth noting. And I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong, you know, like at the end of the day, I feel like it's about enjoying yourself above everything else. And so I've just got some little ones I just want to list off, which are you can work out outside. There's parks, there's like your garden if you want to, or there's like loads of clubs or classes you can go to. At home, you can get loads of there's actually loads of really cool like little either gimmicky things or at home weights that you can get. Jump on Facebook Marketplace, get some weights, or get creative. I know anyone who gave exercise a go during lockdown, I'm sure has some very inventive ways, you know, picking up water bottles or that sort of thing. Or yeah, just as we mentioned at the start of the episode, go try a more inclusive gym, or try a gym that, I mean, there are certain gyms that are cater more towards people that are a little bit nervous or are at the beginning of their fitness journey. But yeah, I think that is everything.
I've learned a lot.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, what's it made you think? Okay, we're working on it. We're still working on it. Ellis is yet to
I was thinking of some other things. Like if I was fully panicking in a gym, what would I do? I think I'd like go and fill my water up, or like, you know, I feel like spending more time there would ease my anxiety. So just like, even if it was just to go there to suss it out first and then go home.
Yeah. Oh my God, absolutely.
Go back and actually have a plan.
Well, there's no pressure as well for you to go and for it to be like okay, I need to go and have a 2-hour workout. If for you, like going to the gym, walking into the changing rooms, you know, sometimes you have to walk across the gym to get into the change rooms. Doing that, if that's enough, then that's a win, like in itself, you know. Just take the pressure off yourself. I think we feel that anxiety because we're just like, you know, and just like if you can take the pressure off yourself, you can actually just focus on like trying to alleviate it, you know, like one thing at a time, rather than trying to deal with everything in one go. And
like getting in your head too much, like it's hard to do, but like overthinking it more and more will make you more think about like I don't know how to say it, but like thinking about it more will make you more
and spiral. You're like exactly. The more attention you bring to kind of like, oh my God, I'm feeling anxious, it's gonna just spin you out, you know. And always like just, I don't know, en route, you know, get into like a nice ritual, like wear something that you feel comfortable in whilst you're training. Go and like whilst you're driving, just have some sick tunes on.
Yeah.
I also just find that having your headphones on, blocking out the world, is really helpful.
Yeah.
You know, if you are feeling a little bit self-conscious or worried, just block it out.
Have a good gym playlist.
Mm-hmm.
Gym goes soccer.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much I could say.
Yeah, we should do
I
a
hope
separate...
I've like scratched the surface. I mean, I'd be happy to do like a Q&A or something one time.
Yeah. I think also a separate episode on like beginner's guide would be great for people.
Yeah, the kind of actionable tasks, the like training with someone, the going in with a plan, it's all very helpful, but like a lot of it's just really sitting with yourself and just being like, I have got this, and then doing it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't really live a life where they push themselves out of their comfort zone, so suddenly being at the gym feels very overwhelming, but it will come with time. Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed, please do give us a follow or a subscribe if you're listening and watching on YouTube. Yeah, also for audio listeners, did you know we have video format? If you don't, then go check us out on YouTube and you can watch us and have a look at our beautiful set that we built with our very own hands. Do you have anything else you want to add, Ellis?
No, I just hope this helped at least one person.
Absolutely.
And I've learnt a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe one day I will step foot in a gym.
Exactly. I'll hold you to that. Do give us a follow on Gym Girls Locker Room on all platforms. If you do want to stay in touch in between episodes, we have lots of things going on over there. So if you do want to connect with like-minded women, gym girlies, worldwide gym girlies, then please do over there. All of the links will be added to the show notes. And I think that's everything for now. So have a lovely week and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I'm ashamed of myself. So sorry. Okay.
Oh, should I just catch some quickly? Right, women's only gym. Just pick up from there.
Yeah. Women's only gym. Must not forget topic. You killed my sister. And I'm next. For the audio listeners, Syd is currently standing on the sofa of our set. Oh my god, she's behind me, standing on the sofa, catching ladybirds. Or Emma, our producer, said, I don't call them ladybirds, I call them ladybugs. Comment down below. Or send us a DM. Do you call them ladybirds or ladybugs? Are we leaving this all in?
Oh my god, what the fuck is that?
Oh,
So we got different kinds of bugs now.
Syd! What the hell?
I nearly fell on you.
Like, where were we? Even were we?
So
I blinked and you were behind me.
and then I fell on you. No, but that one.
What? What did you do?
No, because like I wobbled. I think there's ladybirds in my ears. It's not okay.